He gets hit with the harsh truth so hard that his mind just shuts it out. He can't accept what's happening, so he falls straight into denial. Meanwhile, the heroes have already broken into the castle. His forces are down, and he finally realizes how real the situation is. The black flames he was so proud of? Yeah, they completely failed. The heroes survived and are still advancing on him like it's nothing. The sword god of the heroes straight up pierces him, cutting through his scales and even his heart. And he can't wrap his head around how that's even possible. He's bleeding out, completely stunned. This shouldn't be happening. He genuinely doesn't understand how a hero could overpower him like this. Then we jump back to his past. He wasn't just any demon. He was elite. Top of his class at the Demon King Military Academy. Graduated with the highest honors. Basically, the definition of a prodigy. He explains that everything he did came from this ancient guideline called the Demon King Standards, a system created by the very first Demon King. He studied it more than anyone else and followed it exactly. So, just like the manual said, he built a massive tower and kidnapped princesses. Classic villain playbook. He thought this was the proper way to rule. And he didn't just stop there. He even raised the heroes who came to rescue the princesses, turning the entire situation into some twisted training cycle. For a demon king, the heroes' anger and despair were basically the finest meal you could ask for. But if you kill them too early, the flavor doesn't mature, so it's a waste. So the proper way was to let them grow stronger, then devour them at their peak. The stronger the hero, the better the taste. And since he followed these Demon King standards better than anyone else, he was sure conquering the world was only a matter of time. By devouring all that hatred and sorrow from heroes and civilians, he ends up reaching the peak. He becomes the strongest Demon King in existence. Absolute top of the food chain. But even after becoming that powerful, there's one thing he can't accept. If he was truly the strongest, then why was he the one who lost? He's furious and confused, screaming out in disbelief. He can't understand it at all. How did things end like this? One of the heroes laughs in his face, saying demon kings always complain the same way when they lose. He basically mocks him, saying it's their own fault things end up like this. They act shocked every time, even though they're the ones who set everything in motion. The demon king snaps back angrily, refusing to accept any of that. The hero fires back, saying this is exactly what demon kings always do. They kidnap the most famous princess, leave obvious clues, and basically invite the heroes to come challenge them. He taunts him even harder. If he were the demon king, he would have just killed the king instead. That would have thrown the entire kingdom into total chaos. And that thought hits the demon king. If he kidnapped the king, the humans would start fighting among themselves for the throne, but then all that hatred and rage wouldn't be aimed at him anymore. He realizes that if he caused internal chaos instead, he wouldn't gain fear or hatred from the humans, which means he wouldn't grow stronger as a demon king. And that goes completely against the standards he's been following. The hero keeps roasting him. He says demon kings even send monsters to villages so heroes can level up on the way, basically acting like free trainers. But when the heroes come straight to the tower, it's even better. Everything is gathered in one place. Way easier to raid, level up, and win. He explains how the first floor of the tower is always packed with weak monsters, so beginners can grind safely and level up at their own pace. It's literally a training zone. The Demon King shouts back that this was all intentional. The heroes weren't supposed to die early. He needed them to grow stronger so he could harvest even more despair from them. That's exactly what the Demon King standards taught him to do. We see that same cursed manual again, the very rulebook he's been blindly following his whole life. The hero doesn't hold back anymore and drives his sword straight through the Demon King, landing a brutal finishing blow. The Demon King's eyes go wide in shock. He realizes this is it. He's really been defeated. The hero casually explains that when the tower gets boring, they just kill the Demon King. Then a new one appears, along with a brand new tower to conquer. To the heroes, it's just a never-ending game. The hero grins like a maniac and says the Demon King's tower is basically the perfect hunting ground for heroes. All the other heroes start laughing and thanking him too. They say they were able to grow stronger because of him, joking that he's more like their mentor than a demon king. They keep mocking him, praising the tower like it was some luxury training facility. They thank him for providing the best hunting ground they could ever ask for. Lying on the floor, the demon king finally realizes the truth. To the heroes, he wasn't a terrifying ruler. He was basically their sponsor. His tower was nothing more than their personal hunting ground. The hero casually admits the demon king was actually strong this time. Plenty of heroes died fighting him, but he doesn't mind because it made him famous. Then he raises his sword with a grin and delivers the final farewell. Goodbye, Demon King. Even while dying, he's furious. A mere hero daring to do this to him? He sees it as pure humiliation. He slams his fist down in rage, questioning everything. If this is how it ends, then what was the point of the Demon King's standards he lived by? He refuses to accept this as his fate. He can't die like this. Not as a joke. Not as prey. He desperately clings to life, forcing out his last will to survive. With his last burst of rage, he refuses to accept defeat. He roars out that he is the Demon King, clinging desperately to that pride. But even with all that fury, his strength is fading. His body is already at its limit. And then, everything goes silent. His life is finally cut off, and the Demon King falls. The heroes look on as the Demon King finally collapses. For them, it's just another cleared raid. Blood spreads across the floor, while everything fades out from his perspective. His vision is slipping away. The heroes casually walk forward, already treating the aftermath like business as usual. For them, this is routine. Even as he lies there dying, he burns the image into his mind. Everyone who ever looked down on him, every hero who mocked him, he swears it silently with his last breath. One day, they'll pay for this. His fading gaze fixes on the sword god, the one who finished him. That man becomes the symbol of everything he'll one day take revenge on. The sword god casually claims the Demon King's horns as his trophy, already thinking about spoils instead of the fight. But then something unexpected happens. Dark energy starts surging from the Demon King's body, catching the hero off guard. With what little life he has left, the Demon King makes one final vow. Even if it costs him everything, he'll use the last of his life to make them pay. The sword god suddenly realizes something's wrong. That surge of dark power isn't normal, and even he starts to panic. The Demon King's remaining life force explodes outward, unleashing a massive burst of cursed energy. The sword god screams as the blast rushes toward him, completely caught off guard by the Demon King's final act of revenge. The Demon King's final curse erupts across the battlefield, swallowing everything in a massive wave of purple energy. Heroes are instantly consumed by the dark flames, their bodies turning to ash as the curse tears through them. In his last moment of clarity, the Demon King finally understands. The Demon King's standards he lived by were wrong from the start. Those very rules are what made the heroes look down on him. As his consciousness fades, he regrets everything. If he'd known the truth from the start, he never would have followed those Demon King standards. He makes one final wish. If he ever gets another chance, he's done with the rules. No more proper Demon King behavior. His curse explodes one last time, wiping everything out. And with that, the Demon King disappears, swearing that next time, he'll do things his own way. In the darkness, a voice begins to echo. A name slowly being called out. That name becomes clear. Berje. Suddenly, he jolts awake. His eyes snap open in shock, as if he's just returned from death itself. He looks around in shock, realizing he's standing somewhere completely different under a peaceful night sky. Surrounded by students in uniform, he has no idea what's happening. None of this matches the battlefield he just died on. Then the realization hits him. Somehow he's alive again. A voice calls out his name in front of everyone, telling Berje to step forward. Hearing it shocks him because that really is his name. He walks toward the stage, still confused and trying to figure out what's going on. Then it clicks. This place, this ceremony, it's from his past. Somehow, He's gone back in time to before everything began. Berje just stands there, looking completely lost. He suddenly realizes he's back in the past. And right in front of him is the academy director, scolding him gently, asking why someone as brilliant as him is acting so strangely on his own graduation day. Berje lowers his gaze and finally notices the red badge pinned to his chest. It hits him instantly. That badge, it's the mark given only to graduates of the Demon King Academy. The symbol of a Demon King. Everything clicks at once. The memories, the tower, the heroes, his death. He finally understands what's happening. He's returned to the moment before it all began. So yeah, we're actually back in time. This is the Demon King Academy graduation day from 15 years ago. The exact moment everything started going wrong. All the graduates are being called up to the stage, and Berje just standing there like, why am I back here? But then it clicks. This is a shot to change everything. And then the announcer goes, top of the class, number 1 genius, Berje Diaz, come read the speech for everyone. So now the spotlight's on him again. Berje stands in front of the Demon King's standard again. The same rules that literally ruined his life last time. He looks calm on the outside, but inside he's like, the Demon King's standard. He remembers how many times he studied this thing, memorized every line, followed every rule perfectly, and it still led him straight to death. He thinks back on it and calls this whole standard nothing but trash, the very thing that turned him into a toy for the heroes and dragged him straight to his death. Then he looks over at the others and asks if he seriously has to recite this standard right now, sounding totally annoyed already. Berje is having a serious reality check right now. It hits him that he actually has to stand in front of this whole crowd and swear, on his life, that he's going to follow the Demon King standards again. The worst part is looking at the director and the other high-ranking demons. They're all just beaming with smiles, totally clueless, waiting for him to drop some inspiring speech. But inside, Berje is absolutely fuming. He's grinding his teeth so hard it hurts, caught between being confused about why this is happening and being furious that he has to play along with this charade. This clueless announcer guy steps up and asks Berje to read the Great Demon King standard, acting like everything is completely chill. But Berje is barely holding it together, grinding his teeth so hard from pure rage that it looks like he is in physical pain. Finally, he just snaps and shouts, "I refuse," at the top of his lungs, completely shocking everyone in the room. The entire crowd is left completely shook, standing there in awkward silence, trying to process the fact that their leader just rejected the most important rule of their world. Berje totally loses it, screaming that following this standard is nothing more than absolute BS, and he is not about to sign his life away for something so stupid. He caps it off by yelling that the Demon King's standard is literal trash, destroying the ceremony in front of every single noble and soldier watching. The entire audience is completely stunned. The soldiers are just standing there frozen with question marks over their heads, totally unable to comprehend that their new king just went off script like that. The student is freaking out so hard that his glasses literally shatter on his face. He is screaming in pure disbelief, looking like his brain just short-circuited from the sheer audacity of what Berje just said. And it's not just him. All the teachers and officials are losing their minds too. Their smiles are gone, replaced by total shock and rising anger as they realize Berje is dead serious about trashing their traditions. The director is absolutely losing it. He screams, "What?" in total disbelief, looking like his brain just broke from shock. And just like that, this was the exact moment the smartest student in the entire academy basically signed his own death wish. The guy in charge completely loses it. He's furious, slamming his fist down on the desk, rage exploding because Berje dared to speak out of line. He shouts Berje's name, calling him out hard. Says Berje should already be dead for what he said and for daring to insult the Demon King standards in the first place. Then the tone shifts. They admit Berje isn't stupid. He's sharp, disciplined, and smarter than most. Because of that, they decide to give him one final chance. Berje is ordered to take everything back, withdraw his words, apologize publicly, and bow to the entire demon realm like a loyal pawn. The room explodes in disbelief. Exile? They call it Arden, a place where demon kings go to die. Sending him, there is basically a death sentence. The others push back hard. Why give another chance to someone who dared question the standards? An apology won't erase that. For them, this is unforgivable. The authority figure warns him straight up. Arden isn't just exile. It's the worst domain there is. Countless demon kings have gone there and never made it back alive. Berje doesn't hesitate for even a second. He looks up and tells them to send him there themselves. Then he drops the real challenge. He says he'll go there and prove it. Prove that the so-called demon king standards everyone worships are complete garbage. They write him off completely. Call him hopeless. No respect left, no patience, just pure dismissal. The punishment is finalized. Berje is stripped of every privilege a demon king normally gets. No support, no guards, no allies. He's being sent to Arden alone. The order is absolute. Until the mission is completed, Berje is banned from returning to the demon realm. With that, he's thrown out and dropped straight into exile. As he's falling, Berje thinks it through. After causing that mess, this outcome was always coming. None of this surprises him. Then it hits him. Of all places, he's been sent back there. Aryan, the same land where the heroes killed him the first time. He remembers the irony. Even before he ever regressed, Aryan was the place he personally chose. The beginning of everything, and now, the start of his second run. Berje admits his mistake. He thought strength alone made him untouchable, that the strongest should naturally face the hardest path. That arrogance is what killed him. And worse, it's exactly why the heroes were able to exploit the Demon King standards so easily. He hits the ground hard. No ceremony, no welcome. Just a brutal landing that marks the real beginning of his second life. Berje finds himself in the far north, buried deep in the coldest mountain range on the continent. Alone, surrounded by snow and silence. He steadies himself and makes a promise. He won't let the same ending happen again. Not this time. Then the resolve hardens. If the heroes abused the system before, he'll flip it on its head. This time, he's the one exploiting the hero's standards. Someone else is getting ready too. Calm, unbothered. Moving like this is just another normal day for him. He fixes his clothes neatly, completely composed. No tension, no rush. Just confidence. Then the reveal. Gordon Dyrek, top graduate of the Demon Academy. He smiles, clearly pleased with himself, like he already knows this place is about to get interesting. The system is laid out clearly. The Demon King Academy creates demon kings, while the Demon Academy exists to train demons who will serve under them. By demon realm law, the top graduate of the Demon Academy is automatically assigned to serve the top demon king. That's how Gordon ends up here. Freshly graduated, confident, and laughing, he's officially assigned as Berje's subordinate. The second-place graduate can't hide the regret. He's frustrated, thinking that if he'd pushed himself just a little harder, he could have been the one serving the Demon King. Gordon responds smoothly, praising all Demon Kings like it's basic etiquette. Calm words, polite smile, saying they're all great people. Then his real thoughts slip through. In his head, he decides none of them are actually great, especially not Berje. They hype Berje up as a legend in the making. One-of-a-kind talent, chosen by destiny, someone demon history will never forget. Gordon buys into the fantasy completely. With Berje as his lord, he's convinced they can conquer any dimension without exception. Inside his own head, Gordon is already celebrating. He's sure this moment will be carved into history. The beginning of his rise alongside Lord Berje. Berje cuts through the hype instantly. Says they got it all wrong. Loud enough for everyone in the hall to hear. The room freezes. Gordon and the others are caught completely off guard, like they didn't expect the Demon King himself to shut this down. Berje snaps. He calls out straight. The Demon King standards are trash, and following them is exactly why everything keeps going wrong. The shock hits instantly. Faces go pale. That statement wasn't just rebellion, it was heresy in the demon realm. Reality snaps back to the present. Berje stands alone in the deep northern mountains, already bound by demon realm law, that forces subordinates to follow him. Back at the academy, confusion spreads. Gordon can't understand it. After all that confidence, one question keeps repeating his head. Why? Gordon realizes the truth. They said no demon would follow Berje, but someone was sent anyway. He turns back, cold air cutting through the silence, and finally accepts what this assignment really means. Berje steps forward and greets him calmly, like this was always expected. Gordon isn't a privilege. He's part of the punishment. Gordon finally asks him straight up, why would he say something like that in front of everyone? Why throw everything away like that? Berje acts confused at first, then Gordon snaps. He loses it, yelling about the standards and how Berje insulted them in front of the entire realm. Berje tries to calm him down, completely missing the point, which only makes Gordon explode even harder. Berje pauses and wonders if Gordon was always like this. Before the regression, Gordon was confident and composed, not this unhinged. Gordon snaps back into his usual self. He laughs it off, keeps it brief, and tells Berje they can handle this together. He sounds confident again. Berje thinks it through. The standards really are different now. But if he explains regression, Gordon might think he's lost his mind. So he decides to keep that part to himself. Gordon pushes himself up, still embarrassed, apologizing for losing control earlier. He says since this is where they've ended up, he'll do his job properly. Berje acknowledges it calmly. No argument, no comfort, just acceptance that this is how things are now. Then Berje goes back to the rules. Demon King standards say a tower must exist, but can't be hidden or placed in an environment this extreme. Otherwise, heroes would never be able to reach it. Gordon warns him this place is a nightmare. Massive mountains, monsters everywhere, nearly impossible for humans to even locate, let alone reach. Berje shuts that down immediately. He's not moving. He says he's building the tower right here. No debate. Then he proves it. Berje plants the tower seed into the ground and feeds it his own blood, starting the tower's growth. Gordon panics, calling it out as insanity. Berje is going straight against the standards, against pride, against everything a demon king is supposed to stand for. Berje understands the reaction. He knows that disgust well. For demons, faith in the standards is carved into their bones. Rejecting them feels wrong on an instinctive level. But Berje doesn't flinch. He's lived through what comes after blind faith. And that's why he knows this truth better than anyone. He used to be exactly like Gordon. Berje clenches his fist until blood spills. He calls Gordon by name and says it plainly. The Demon King standards are garbage. He raises his bleeding hand toward the frozen land and makes it clear, especially here in Aryan. This place exposes how broken those rules really are. Gordon freezes. The words hit harder than the cold. For the first time, doubt starts creeping into something he's believed his entire life. The air starts shaking. Something beneath the snow responds, like the land itself just woke up. The tower seed erupts with violent energy. Blood, mana, and heat explode outward as it begins to activate. The ground splits open. The seed roots itself deep, pulling power straight from Berje, marking the true birth of the tower. The power spreads outward in waves, carving itself into the land. The tower's presence is announced loud and clear. Berje lays out the reason. Aryan is crawling with heroes. Not a few, not some, way too many of them. And we see why. Groups of heroes, all different types, all strong, all moving with the same purpose. This place isn't a battlefield anymore. It's a hunting ground. The tower activates and locks onto its owner. Identity confirmed. Race confirmed. Berje Delis. No mistakes this time. The summoning begins. The tower doesn't rise slowly or gently. It forces its way into existence, shaking the land like it was always meant to be here. Berje finally explains it. This is why demon kings kept dying in Aryan. Humans figured out the tower's mechanics, abused them, and turned demon king standards into weapons against their owners. Berje makes it clear. In this land, demon king standards don't mean anything anymore. If anything, they should be called the hero's standards now. The tower finishes forming. Massive, brutal, impossible to ignore. Even in a place like Aryan, Its presence dominates everything around it. In the end, it's simple. Berje summoned the tower here on purpose. This wasn't a mistake. It was a declaration. Berje doesn't hesitate. He tells Gordon to move in and steps straight through the tower doors. Inside, it's revealed as the first floor. Wide, empty, almost unsettling. No traps, no monsters, just silence. Gordon immediately notices how wrong it feels. A Demon King's tower should be a death zone, packed with threats. But this place has nothing. A tower with no perks, no defenses, and no rewards. They reach the upper floor, the Demon King's chamber. And it's the same story. Every floor is empty. No guards, no traps, nothing prepared. Gordon thinks it through. The tower is already built, so there's no undoing that. But at the very least, they still need to follow some standards. He brings up the rule that can't be ignored. A Demon King's tower must hold a captive. A prince or princess placed close to the throne, preferably alive. Gordon explains the reasoning. Captives aren't just for show. They generate demonic energy and stabilize the tower's operation. He asks for permission to speak freely. Berje allows it without hesitation, letting Gordon lay out the logic. Berje lays it out clearly. The northern mountains belong to a kingdom, and if they want the tower to grow fast, they need a princess. The higher her status, the better the results. He explains the reason without sugarcoating it. A captured royal fuels the tower with fear, rage, and despair, accelerating its growth. Gordon hesitates, already knowing this is crossing a line. He admits Berje will probably be refused, then pauses. Berje cuts in calmly. He says it's already decided. There's a specific princess he's had his eye on from the start. Gordon suddenly speaks up. He insists on helping too, but Berje shuts it down immediately and assigns him a different task. Someone has to guard the tower, and the Demon King's residence can't stay empty. Gordon relaxes a little. He convinces himself this is fine. Berje is the top Demon King after all, just stressed from graduation. This is still salvageable. This is where things really start. Before leaving, Gordon asks the obvious question. If Berje is going alone, who exactly is he planning to bring back? Berje pauses for a second, then finally answers. He already has someone in mind. He names the place, the farthest kingdom to the south on the entire continent. A nation distant, isolated, and easy to overlook. The target is revealed, the kingdom of Hilderin. And under the moonlit night, Berje appears outside a quiet palace window. Inside, a lone princess sits unaware. The hunt doesn't start with force. It starts with timing. Berje narrows it down even further. Among all the royal daughters, he chooses the one with the weakest presence, the most overlooked, the 13th princess. He makes his move. Under the full moon, he declares it plainly. He's here to take her. No threats, no drama, just intent. Back at the tower, Gordon completely loses it. This plan doesn't bend the Demon King standards. It snaps them in half. Total opposite. Absolute violation. So the princess is just chilling in her room at night. Then suddenly she notices someone standing there. And yeah, it's our boy Berje, horns and all, just casually appearing in her chamber. She's completely stunned. No screaming, no panic, just pure confused energy as she asks who this random horn man is that showed up out of nowhere. Berje doesn't sugarcoat anything. No dramatic build-up. He just straight up says he's the Demon King and he's here to kidnap her. Like it's the most normal thing in the world. Instead of freaking out, the princess just gives him a tiny smile like this is totally normal. Then she calmly asks if he's really sure he can handle kidnapping her. Berje is confused for a second, wondering what kind of question that even is before answering confidently that of course he can. He's a Demon King. She straight up stretches her hands out and tells him he can take her if he wants. Berje is stunned and asks why she's so calm. Like what is she even planning? She says she always thought something like this would happen eventually just because she's a princess. He warns her not to try any tricks. He says he's desperate too, so he's not dropping his guard for even a second. The princess just smiles gently and says she isn't plotting anything. She's like, how would she even set up a trap when she didn't know a Demon King would show up tonight? Berje pauses for a second. He admits she kind of has a point, But something about this still feels off to him, and he can't explain why. Then she calmly reaches out her hand and says, "Shall we go?" Like she's fully ready to be kidnapped without a hint of fear. We cut to the frozen Urgus Mountains, where Berge's new tower rises out of the snow, looking insanely ominous and impossible to miss. Berge lands back at the tower in his dragon form, then walks in calmly carrying the princess bridal style. Gordon rushes over, relieved that he made it back alive. Berge orders Gordon to let the princess stay on the 4th floor instead of a prison cell, since she didn't resist. Gordon is confused but agrees, while the princess just waves politely like this is totally normal. Gordon suddenly gets serious and tells Berge there's something important he needs to report. We cut to the 4th floor of the tower, where the princess has been left completely alone in a giant empty room. She sits on the cold floor, finally processing everything and realizing, yeah, she's actually been kidnapped for real. She compares it to the palace and realizes there's nothing here. No pillows, no blankets, no maids, just cold stone floors and empty space. She remembers the kingdom. Beautiful gardens, fountains, sunshine, butterflies. Everything here is the complete opposite of that life. But then she smiles to herself and decides it's honestly not that bad. Berge hears there's an invitation from the Tower of Beasts, and he looks a bit surprised. His aide explains that it's supposedly a welcome party for the new Demon King, but Berge immediately shuts that idea down, saying it's definitely just hazing from the older Demon Kings. Berge explains that Demon Kings are way too prideful to ever cooperate with each other, so a welcome party clearly has another agenda behind it. All the Demon Kings here used to be too prideful to even look at each other, but Arian changed the whole game. The situation got so bad they actually teamed up. Berge admits he used to brush them off, thinking they were weak. Now he's like, fine, I should at least talk to them a bit this time. We cut to the Tower of Beasts, the place where that welcome party is supposed to happen. So this massive beast introduces himself like it's nothing. He's Draxon, Demon King of Beasts. And yeah, he looks exactly as terrifying as that title sounds. He flexes a bit, saying he's been ruling this region for 70 years straight, like he basically owns the place. Then he looks at Berge and goes, "So you're the new Demon King?" and immediately starts clowning him, saying he heard Berge ignore tradition. But honestly, he doesn't look impressive at all. Berge shows up at the Tower of Beasts and basically asks the massive wolf Demon King if he's here to fight him. He's already annoyed and just tells him to get to the point. Draxon laughs and says Berge doesn't know anything. He explains that the Archduke personally told him to keep an eye on Berge when he arrived here. Berge realizes he means that loud vampire elder from before, and he's just done with this. He's like, guess dumping him in Arian wasn't enough to shut him up. Draxon snaps, furious that Berge spoke so casually about the Archduke, and starts shouting about how bold he is. He slams a giant chunk of meat into the ground, splattering grease everywhere like it's some kind of dominance move. Then he leans in with those glowing predator eyes and tells Berge to lick it, saying he'll forgive him if he does. Berge asks the Beast Demon King if he truly knows why he's here, and Draxon answers confidently that of course he does, because Berge mocked the sacred orthodox laws of Demon Kings. Berge calmly replies that, according to those same rules, Demon Kings aren't even allowed to kill each other. Then suddenly, Berge stomps the ground with insane force as he says, "However," a terrifying aura erupts from him, spreading across the battlefield. Berge glares at Draxon with a cold, ruthless look and basically says, "Did you really think I'd follow that rule?" Draxon suddenly freezes up. That fearless attitude he had, gone. He's shaking as Berge's aura crushes him, and he's freaking out like, what the hell is this pressure? Now he's panicking for real. He blurts out that the Archduke sent him here to confirm whether Berge actually kidnapped a princess, and warns that if he doesn't report back in a month, Berge will lose his authority. Berge just turns his back and casually walks away like it's nothing. He says there's no need for concern, because he's already kidnapped a princess. Berge just drops it casually like it's nothing, saying the princess actually fits his taste, while everyone behind him freezes like, wait, what did he just say? Scene shifts back to Berge Tower, snow falling outside. the place looking cold and imposing as always. His aide praises him, saying he perfectly showed the dignity of a demon king. Berje brushes it off like it was no big deal and says that for now, the beast demon king won't be able to pull anything. Berje sits back on the throne, still calm after everything, and tells Gordon to check on the princess. He's already thinking ahead, saying he needs to figure out how to actually make use of her. We cut to the outside of the tower. Snow falls quietly against the tall window, and the sound echoes through the room. Berje runs a hand through his hair, clearly stressed. He admits this whole situation is annoying, and if the other demon kings are going to act like this too, things are about to get way more troublesome. Berje sits there thinking to himself. The backlash from ignoring the orthodox demon king traditions turned out way bigger than he expected, but even so, if he had to choose again, he'd still do the exact same thing. He rises from the throne with conviction, eyes sharp. He'd rather die on his feet than bow his head to trash. No hesitation, no regret. He opens his system screen and thinks calmly. He won't repeat his past mistakes. This time, he's going to rebuild everything from the ground up. Since the princess he kidnapped is the lowest rank, he'll only get a small amount of demonic energy, but even then, it's still the safest path forward. He checks the system screen and nearly does a double take. The number staring back at him isn't a few hundred points, it's over 13,000. Way more than it should ever be. He stares at the display, low-key panicking. Why does he have that many points? This princess was supposed to be bottom tier. So what is going on? Before he can figure it out, a new notification pops up. He's received a video recording from the Tower of Beasts. He stops, confused and instantly suspicious. Draxon shows up on the hologram, all smug and polite now, saying he's sending this video as a congratulations gift to the new Demon King. He admits their first meeting wasn't exactly friendly, but since he's the senior Demon King here, he figures he should at least be generous. He keeps going, praising Berje like crazy. He says what Berje did in Aryan is actually insane, since pulling that off isn't something just anyone can do. Berje watches the recording with a serious face, then suddenly realizes something is off. Why is Draxon talking like this? Berje freezes. His eyes widen. Sweat drops down his face. Something's wrong. Very wrong. Gordon sprints and like the world is ending, yelling that there's a huge problem on the 4th floor. We cut to the 4th floor, and it's suddenly a bright paradise full of butterflies, flowers, sunlight, the whole vibe. He looks around in disbelief, realizing the gloomy Demon Tower floor has turned into a peaceful nature garden. Completely stunned, just staring like, what the? A system notice pops up saying the 4th floor is currently being naturalized, while Berje just stands there trying to process what he's seeing. So the princess turns around all chill and just smiles like, oh, you're here, as if she didn't just terraform the entire floor. Meanwhile, the Demon King is frozen like, bro, she literally created a full-on ecosystem inside a magic tower. Then he starts piecing it together. This level of spirit control, only someone who's mastered all 4 elements could do that. And that's when it hits him. He kidnapped the 13th princess, which means there's only one person on the continent who could possibly pull this off. Berje finally realizes it. He looks at the girl surrounded by spirits and just blurts it out like, yeah, but definitely not the 13th princess. And she's just chilling, smiling like, yep, knew you'd get it wrong. Everyone mistakes me for Elena. Berje freezes, full shock, sweating, brain buffering. He's like, hold up, don't tell me you're actually. And she straight up confirms it with the cutest smile ever. She introduces herself proudly, Ernan Hilderin, the first princess of the entire kingdom. Not just any royal, literally the top one. Word spreads fast through the kingdom, and now everyone knows the first princess has been kidnapped by a demon king. The entire palace is in chaos. The king loses it completely. He's furious, screaming out in rage, demanding to know who dared to take his precious daughter. And yeah, he's not letting this slide. He immediately mobilizes everything. Heroes, knights, the full army. Their mission is simple: hunt down the Demon King, cut off his head, and bring the princess back. The whole kingdom is now locked onto one target. The princess finally answers his question with a calm smile. She straight up says that's exactly why she asked him in the first place. She wanted to know if he could really handle her. Berje gets serious. He realizes her mana is insane, completely overflowing. He remembers rumors about a genius elemental mage and understands why he never sensed her before. Whatever she's doing, she perfectly hid it from him. She reveals the trick, a ring that conceals her mana entirely, a royal heirloom passed down through her family. And just like that, Berje understands he didn't kidnap a weak princess at all. He took something way bigger than he expected. The princess casually asks if that answers his question and even offers to go back if he wants, completely flipping the situation on him. Berje realizes sending her back would make him a joke. No kingdom fears a demon king who backs down, and losing her would kill his demonic energy gains. He steels himself and decides he has no choice now. Whatever happens next, he's sticking to this path. Berje gets hit with a system alert. He realizes the tower and the outside world have already locked onto him. No hiding now. He's officially been singled out. He stays calm and accepts it. Whether she's the 13th princess or not doesn't matter anymore. The situation hasn't changed, and neither has his plan. He looks straight at her and draws the line. Whatever her true identity is, she's still his hostage. And until this is over, that fact isn't changing. News hits the Hilderan kingdom like a bomb. The first princess has been kidnapped by a demon king, and the whole capital instantly goes into panic mode. The king loses it. He orders the strongest heroes and the entire military to mobilize right now, swearing to kill the demon king and bring his daughter back no matter the cost. Officials scramble for answers, but no one knows which demon king did it yet. Patrols are already being sent out, buying time while the kingdom prepares for war. The Hilderan court goes into full panic mode. The king snaps, yelling for answers, furious that his daughter was taken and his people are still standing around doing nothing. Amid the chaos, a sharp official points out something feels off. Demon kings who kidnap princesses usually don't last long, and this case isn't following the usual pattern. They recall past examples where demon kings grew arrogant, drew too much attention, and got wiped out by heroes. Yet somehow, another princess has been taken again, and that contradiction makes the room go silent. The court finally connects the dots. This isn't some old demon king repeating history. This is a new one, and that realization hits everyone at once. The king snaps. Rage explodes as he accepts it. A new demon king just entered the board, and that makes the situation way worse than they thought. The report comes in fast. Teleportation magic traces confirmed. The target is clear. Northbound, straight toward the Urgus Mountains. The king freezes when he hears the destination. The Urgus Mountains. That means only one place. Berje's Tower. The truth hits the kingdom hard. The demon king who took the princess is stationed at Berje's Tower, deep in the Urgus Mountains. Back at the tower, Gordon warns Berje that Hilderan's army is marching soon. Berje stays calm and brushes it off, already thinking about how to handle what's coming next. Berje stays calm and smirks. He says it's fine. Hilderan's army won't be able to reach him anyway. He explains it straight. The Urgus Mountains sit at the very edge of the northern continent, while Hilderan is all the way in the south. Even if the army moves, they'd have to cross multiple kingdoms in between. No nation is going to let a full army pass through just like that. Berje stays calm and confident, already predicting their move. He knows the kingdoms won't open a direct path, so they'll switch strategies instead. The king slams the table, cornered. With no other option left, he orders them to contact the Hero Guild. The scene shifts to the Hero Guild's tower, making it clear what's coming next. Heroes are about to get dragged into this mess. News spreads fast. Everyone finds out the princess of Hilderan was kidnapped, and the whole kingdom is in shock. People can't even imagine which demon king would dare pull something like this, especially with the destination being Urgus. Fear kicks in immediately. Urgus is known as a death zone, packed with monsters, and most people already assume the princess is doomed. Even seasoned adventurers don't want anything to do with it. Meanwhile, Berje stays calm. He knows the Hero Guild won't move unless there's money involved, And that hesitation is exactly why he chose this place. Urgest isn't just dangerous, it's his home ground. Gordon watches Berje closely and realizes this demon king isn't acting by the book at all. He's breaking rules like they don't matter, yet somehow he knows Aryan way too well. It almost feels like he's been here before. Berje leans back with that calm, confident look. He's already thought through the hero guild problem. No heroes want to risk their lives for this, and he knows exactly how that fear will play out. Back in Hilderin, the king completely loses it. Heroes refusing to step up, excuses everywhere. In his eyes, anyone who backs down now has no right to call themselves a hero. Back in Hilderin, the king finally admits it. Heroes are everywhere in Aryan, but most of them care more about money than people. That's why they're slow, picky, and useless when things actually get dangerous. Berje already saw this coming. He knows it'll take time before a proper hero group is even willing to move. While everyone hesitates, he calmly checks his system and options, already planning his next step. Sitting on his throne, Berje doesn't look worried at all. Even if the heroes come eventually, the demonic energy he's gaining right now is way beyond what they're worth. From his perspective, this delay only benefits him. Berje thinks he understands that fear better than anyone. He has seen what heroes become when fear turns into hesitation and greed. He makes a decision on the spot. Berje tells Gordon to contact Draxon. He is done waiting. He is going to sell demonic energy. The reaction is instant and unhinged. Gordon completely loses it the moment he hears the words demonic energy, realizing Berje is about to flip the entire power balance upside down. Berje realizes exactly what heroes fear most. Demonic energy isn't just power, it's temptation, obsession, the thing that turns even heroes desperate. He calmly decides to flip the game. Instead of fighting everyone head-on, he plans to sell demonic energy itself, knowing Draxon will pay big and that raw demonic power alone can't stop heroes forever. Berje shifts his focus to the human world, setting his eyes on a city near the Urgest Mountains, already planning his next move where money, fear, and ambition all collide. A cloaked figure steps into the fortress outskirts, and the guards immediately tense up. One look at the timing and the direction he's coming from, and they already feel something's off. The guards stop him, calling him out as a suspicious mercenary. Heading alone toward the Urgest Mountains is basically asking to die, so now they're fully alert. Before they can react properly, the cloaked man makes his move. In a blink, he knocks one guard down and disarms the others, leaving them shocked and realizing too late they're not dealing with an ordinary mercenary. He slips past the guards with a casual excuse, acting like a harmless half-blood mercenary, but inside he's already calculating his next move. Walking into the city, he realizes he can't move freely or gather info alone, so he decides the smartest play is to find a guide first. That plan leads him straight into the Scarlet Hawk Mercenary Guild, where he blends in, listens carefully, and prepares to use mercenaries as his way into the bigger game. Inside the tavern, the mercenary is laid back like nothing matters. He says this place is perfect. Soldiers deal with monsters. Mercenaries just show up after and take the spoils. Easy money, no risk, nothing better than this life. Someone brings up the rumor about a new demon king building a tower in the Urgest Mountains. The mercenary laughs it off instantly, calls it fake news. According to him, demon kings always build towers close to hero routes, somewhere heroes can reach easily. Another guy jumps in and says the demon king even kidnapped the princess of Hilderin. That shuts people up for a second. Kidnapping a princess at the edge of the continent isn't normal. This time, something about this demon king feels different. The mercs start talking big. They say the hero guild already ditched the job after hearing the destination is the Urgest Mountains. To them, that's proof this whole princess kidnapping thing is fake hype. One guy laughs it off, saying a princess is just an excuse. He claims demon kings always pull this kind of stunt to bait heroes and squeeze more money out of people. Everyone agrees, cracking jokes about how greedy people get when money's involved. In their eyes, it's all a show, and there's no way anyone's actually risking their life over a precious heir. The guy's laughing 1 second, then suddenly freezes when someone speaks right behind him. The mood flips instantly. He realizes this isn't some random drunk messing around. Before he can even react, he gets slammed straight into the ground. Total chaos. People panic, weapons come out, and the whole place goes silent around him. Berje steps forward, calm and smiling, clearly in control. He says they seem pretty knowledgeable, so he'll make a deal. Leave one person behind, answer his questions properly, and the rest get to walk away alive. They rush him all at once, yelling that he's not getting out alive. Blades come down from every angle, thinking numbers will overwhelm him. Bad move. In a blink, he crashes straight through them. Fists and strikes land back to back, bodies flying, the whole place erupting in impact sound before anyone can even react. When it's over, they're scattered on the ground, completely crushed. He stands there calm and untouched, proving this was never a fight, just a warning. One guy rushes him in a rage, screaming his name, swinging with everything he's got, thinking sheer strength will end it right there. Before the attack even lands, Berje moves. One clean, brutal counter slams straight down, the impact exploding through the ground like it was nothing. The last man freezes in pure shock as Berje looks up from the wreckage with a cold smile, completely unharmed, making it clear this fight was never close. The mercenaries rush him all at once, thinking numbers will save them. Big mistake. He moves first, clean and fast, turning their charge into chaos before they even realize what went wrong. Tables, weapons, and bodies go flying. One hit is enough. Another follows. The whole place explodes into noise as their confidence gets smashed along with the furniture. What's left is pure fear. One survivor finally understands the gap between them, shaking as the word slips out. This isn't a fight anymore. It's a monster hunt, and they're the prey. He turns with that sharp grin, eyes cold, already enjoying the chaos he's causing. The street explodes into noise again. Fists flying, bodies crashing, people scattering as another brawl breaks out. Bystanders just watch it like it's routine now, half annoyed, half bored, wondering if these guys ever get tired of fighting. The whole tavern is wrecked. Bodies everywhere. Tables smashed. And at the center of it all, Berje is the only one still standing. He looms over a survivor, shadow, swallowing the room. Calm voice, zero mercy. He tells the guy not to be scared, just answer honestly. Then he drops the real question, straight to the point. He asks where the slave market is. He reaches the place quietly, confirming this is the slave market hidden inside the city. No signs, no noise, just the kind of spot people pretend doesn't exist. He checks the cages and immediately realizes something's off. Everyone here is human. No demi-humans, no monsters. Just people locked up like merchandise. That answers one thing clearly. Whatever he's looking for isn't common, and whatever plan he's about to make is going to shake this place from the inside. Berje casually asks if there is anything rarer than human slaves, like he is browsing items instead of people. The dealer freezes for a second, then immediately switches gears. The slave trader grins wide and confidently says yes, of course, and tells Berje to follow him. You can tell this guy smells money the moment he hears that question. As they move deeper in, Berje quietly observes how shameless the man is, thinking about how humans chase money the same way demons chase demonic energy. Different species, same greed. He follows the slaver deeper inside, staying quiet, watching every step like he's memorizing the place. The guy leads him down without hesitation, acting way too confident, like this kind of business is routine. Berje makes it clear, with money in hand, he could buy slaves. Not just normal humans, but the otherworldly ones they've captured. And that's exactly what he's here for. Berje immediately locks onto the elf. In his head, he decides an elf with a clean reputation is perfect. Someone known for integrity won't be questioned easily. He makes the call. That elf isn't just a captive anymore, he's a tool. Berje plans to turn him into a spy and stir chaos right inside the hero ranks. Back in Hilderin, the stage flips. Hero Killian Cargill arrives before the throne, confident and trusted, completely unaware he's just stepped in a Berje's game. The hero kneels without hesitation, swearing he'll rescue the princess no matter what, even if it means hunting down the demon king himself. He raises his head, eyes burning with resolve, declaring that he'll do it in the name of justice, fully convinced this is his righteous path. Berje decides to use the elf as a spy. The idea is simple. Turn an innocent-looking race into bait and stir chaos inside the hero's side. He doubles down on the plan, thinking it'll work perfectly because elves are known for their integrity. No one would suspect them, which makes the setup even more dangerous. Back at the market, Berje straight up says he's here to buy an elven slave. The dealer clocks him instantly, realizing this guy isn't bluffing and that he's about to pay whatever it takes. He turns up the pressure instantly. Red aura flares. The question is simple and deadly. Do you object or not? The dealers panic and rush to agree, money already changing hands before anyone can think twice. He cuts them off and orders everyone else out. Says he needs to confirm something privately. They hesitate, worried the elf might lose control, but he doesn't even blink. He waves it off like it's nothing. If something goes wrong, he says the seller will pay the price. The room goes quiet, and the deal is officially locked in. Berje walks into the cage and looks down at the elf, thinking how far things have fallen. An elf known for pride and integrity, now chained up like this. He releases a bit of demonic energy. The chains react instantly, snapping tight, and the elf jolts as the power hits him head-on. The elf glares back through the pain and senses the aura. He asks straight up if Berje is a demon, then scoffs, wondering what kind of business a demon king could possibly have with an elf. He tells the elf straight up that he's not here to kill him. He's offering a deal, a real chance to get revenge on humans instead of rotting away as a slave. The elf looks up, clearly tempted, but doesn't hide his distrust. He says demons are no different from humans. Trusting either of them sounds like a bad joke to him. Berje calmly says he's different. He lays down the condition. 50 years of absolute loyalty, and in return, he guarantees the elf's safety and freedom. He stays calm and explains it straight. 50 years is nothing for elves, and anything is better than being treated like this by humans. The elf snaps back hard. He calls him a demon and says demons are trying to destroy the world tree and the world itself. With anger and distrust clear on his face, the elf questions him directly. How is he supposed to trust a demon after everything that's happened? The elf calls it out straight. A demon asking an elf for help makes no sense, and every word Berje says feels like it's aimed exactly at his deepest wound. He doesn't trust him at all. Berje doesn't get angry. He just smirks and agrees, saying, "Fine, let's do it then," like he already expected this answer. He swears on the great demon king's standards, summoning a demonic contract, promising he'll keep his word and never touch the world tree. This isn't persuasion anymore. It's a binding oath. The elf realizes it. To demons, the demon king's standards are sacred, the same way the world tree is sacred to elves. Berje takes that opening and lays down his condition. He wants the elf to swear on the world tree and pledge allegiance to him for the next 50 years. Instead of getting angry, the elf smiles. He calls Berje a strange demon. If Berje is willing to go this far and stake things on something that's serious, then this deal might actually be worth hearing out. The elf finally introduces himself. He says his name is Granada of the Maple Tribe. He agrees to make the vow, but only after he meets the demon king who sent Berje and judges him with his own eyes. Berje calmly drops it. He straight up says he's the demon king. No hesitation, no flex, just confidence. The elf freezes for a second. Total disbelief. He looks at Berje like he just heard the dumbest lie possible. Then he laughs it off hard. Says a demon king wouldn't come all this way just to buy a slave. Demon kings get weaker the farther they are from their towers. So to him, this makes zero sense. Granada bursts out laughing and straight up challenges him. If he's really a demon king, then he'll swear loyalty for a full 100 years instead. The scene jumps to Berje's tower as they face each other again. The mood completely different. What started as a test just turned into something serious. Berje calmly accepts and flips it back on him. 100-year contract it is. Granada finally realizes it. This guy isn't bluffing at all. He really is a demon king. Granada snaps, calling it a total scam. He says Berje never mentioned the tower would be this empty, and it feels like he's been baited on purpose. He points out that up to the third floor, there's literally nothing. No traps, no monsters, just empty space, which completely breaks his expectations of a Demon King's tower. Then he loses at seeing the fourth floor. Instead of danger, it's full of nature. Granada scoffs, asking what kind of sloppy tower has 0 monsters, clearly convinced something is very wrong. The elf snaps, yelling that this tower is a total scam. It's empty up to the third floor. The fourth floor is just nature, no monsters anywhere. And at this rate, the Demon King won't even last a year before heroes tear him apart. He flat out refuses to work in a place like this. Before he can finish, overwhelming demonic pressure floods the room. Berje reminds him coldly that they already made a contract, and the raw demonic power crashes down hard enough to steal the elf's breath. The elf freezes, drenched in sweat, finally realizing the truth. This pressure isn't bluffing or posturing. Berje really is a Demon King. The elf realizes something feels off. The tower looks empty and messy, but not a single monster from the Urgist Mountains has dared to attack them. It clicks for him. Those are disaster-level monsters, and they stayed away on purpose. Nobody wants to risk provoking the Demon King directly. The conclusion hits hard. A Demon King is still a Demon King. And maybe, just maybe, this is how he finally gets his revenge. Granada kneels and swears on the world tree, pledging his loyalty for the next 100 years. In his head, he's already convinced this matters. If the Demon King himself came for him, then he won't be wasted. This is finally his chance to get revenge. Granada lifts his head, fully committed now. He believes he'll be given an important role, something worthy of the vow he just made. To him, this isn't submission. It's part of a bigger plan. Berje casually accepts the oath, then immediately tells him to prepare a meal. No ceremony, no explanation. Just a calm reminder of who's actually in control. Granada freezes with a blank stare. 3 question marks hang over his head as the realization hits him. This is not the grand revenge-filled role he imagined. In the kitchen, Granada stands at the counter, apron on, silently chopping vegetables. He thinks to himself that he was supposed to be part of a very important plan. The princess suddenly appears beside him, cheerfully offering help and asking if she can make vegetable bread. Granada turns slowly, completely stunned, as the floating elemental spirits bob happily around her. Everyone seated in this massive dining hall, way too quiet for comfort. Granada hesitates, clearly still adjusting, then carefully asks if the woman here is from the Hilderan Kingdom. He looks straight at her while saying it, still unsure, still testing the situation, like he's trying to figure out where he actually stands now. Berje answers calmly and confirms it. That's her non-Hilderan, the princess herself, sitting right there at the same table. The moment hits Granada hard. This isn't a joke anymore. Granada finally snaps. He jumps up, furious, yelling that Berje kidnapped the crown princess and that the tower is completely empty. No defenses, no monsters, nothing. He demands to know how Berje plans to stop the heroes when they show up. Berje calmly cuts him off mid-rant. Without even looking worried, he lifts his fork and tells Granada that this is exactly why he bought him. Then, completely unfazed, he adds that Granada should sit down and eat first. The tension collapses into confusion. Berje casually praises the cooking. Ernan proudly chimes in that she helped too, and Granada freezes, staring at the table in disbelief, wondering what kind of situation he's gotten himself into. Granada straight up asks if Berje plans to fight the heroes here. Berje shuts that idea down immediately and says if the heroes have already reached this far, the game is basically over. Berje explains that fighting here would mess up the human world, then casually drops the real bomb. He wants Granada to become a spy. Granada is caught off guard, trying to process what he just heard. Berje cuts him off and says before anything else, he needs to test Granada's abilities. No speeches, no explanations. Just a calm challenge, telling him to come at him. Granada snaps back, saying it's insane to expect him to beat a demon king inside his own tower. In his head, This already sounds like a rigged fight. Berje casually ups the stakes. He says he'll fight with just one hand, won't use any demonic energy, and if Granada somehow wins, he'll cut their contract down by 50 years. That's all Granada needs to hear. He flares up instantly, powers surging as he accepts the challenge, swearing he'll crush Berje with everything he's got. Granada rushes in first, swinging hard with pure physical strength, putting everything into the opening blow like he's betting it all right now. Berje stops the attack cleanly, barely moving, and calmly realizes this isn't demonic energy. Granada's speed and timing are way too sharp for a normal slave. Berje calls it out straight. Granada has been absorbing mana from the tower itself, boosting his body instead of using magic, and honestly, it suits an elf perfectly. Granada snaps, saying an average elf can't pull this off, blames Berje for choosing the wrong opponent and the wrong place, and starts pouring everything he has into the attack. Berje catches the timing instantly. He notices Granada overcommit, realizes he's wide open, and steps in without hesitation. Granada roars that he's taking those 50 years back right now and throws a full power strike, convinced this blow will decide everything. Berje smirks to himself, deciding this is enough. He's done testing and already knows how this is going to end. The pressure suddenly spikes. A terrifying aura crashes down as Berje's presence twists into something monstrous, wings and claws forming for a split second. Granada freezes, realizing way too late who he's actually fighting. Berje grins in the dark, calmly saying he's not even using demonic energy. He promises to hold back, not out of mercy, but because killing Granada would be pointless. Granada freezes mid-charge. His eyes widen, sweat dripping as a crushing presence bears down on him. W8. A thunderous shockwave erupts. Bam! Far away, Berje's tower stands unmoved amid the frozen mountains, as if answering the declaration with absolute authority. Scene shifts to the city. Horton Walk, headquarters of the Red Hawk mercenaries. The calm before the storm settles in, unaware that something terrifying has just begun moving. The mercenary boss lights up the moment he sees him, acting like he just met royalty, loud, excited, already smelling money. Berje calmly says he wants to hire him for a year, and the whole room freezes as the mercenaries start whispering, realizing this guy might be absurdly rich. Without another word, Berje drops a massive bag of gold on the floor as a deposit, and the shock hits instantly. This isn't talk, he's dead serious. The mercenaries swear loyalty on the spot, fired up by the gold and the confidence behind it. The captain looks half confused, half resigned, already thinking he needs a brand new squad. Orders get handed down fast. Berje puts the Demon King in charge, says he'll be relaying commands from now on. The room goes quiet. No one knows how to feel about this sudden promotion. The elf steps forward, bruised but standing straight, and calmly introduces himself. His name is Granada. The mercenaries gather around Granada, sizing him up. They look rough and unimpressive at first glance, but their eyes say they've survived real fights in Urgest. Granada gets pulled into the group like he's already one of them. No speeches, no ceremony. Just a rough welcome that says, "You're with us now." From a distance, Berje watches calmly. These guys might look average, but they're veterans who operate in the harshest region. Fighters like this don't exist just anywhere, and that's exactly why they're useful. He locks in immediately. The only hero the Hilderan Kingdom would ever trust in a crisis like this. Hillen Cargill, the guy who once took down the Demon King of Lust. He turns to the group and makes it official. Red Hawk mercenaries, this is your first mission. No hesitation, no build-up. He gives the order straight. Investigate Hillen Cargill, the so-called hero working directly under Hilderan. The entire group snaps to attention and answers in unison. Yes, sir. Back at Berje's tower, the moment Granada is dealt with, Berje shifts gears. Sitting on the throne, Berje declares it straight. This isn't about politics or heroes anymore. He's aiming to get stronger, and he's already thinking a few steps ahead. The system lays it out. Demonic energy can either power up the tower or be absorbed directly by Berje. Since he already sold most of his points, There's only one real option left for him to grow stronger. Berje explains the spirit blossom. It's not just a rare plant. It's basically a condensed crystal of mana. It feeds on ambient energy over time, and once consumed, it gives a massive boost in raw strength. The Urgest Mountains are the perfect place for something like this to exist. Constant mana storms, high-level monsters, and almost zero human interference. Nature there's been left alone for years, growing wild and dangerous. Because of that, the spirit blossoms in Urgest have been absorbing pure, natural mana non-stop, refining it over time. For Berje, who already spent all his demonic energy, this is the only realistic way left to power up fast. Berje realizes the spirit blossoms have absorbed refined mana for centuries, turning them into a real treasure worth risking everything for. He knows it's not true demonic energy, but for a demon, it's still better than having nothing. So he decides to go after the blossoms and tells Gordon his plan. Gordon warns him it's reckless to go unprepared, because the moment monsters sense an opening, they'll attack without hesitation. Berje calmly thinks that dealing with monsters isn't the problem. The real issue is finding spirit blossoms, unless he has a high-level mana detector. A sudden knock interrupts the moment, and both Berje and Gordon pause, confused about who would show up now. The door cracks open, and the princess peeks out awkwardly, asking if they're busy, completely breaking the tension. Berje is mid-thought with Gordon when the knock hits. He pauses, turns, and realizes who it is the moment the door opens. Ernan bursts in full of energy, dragging her little spirits along, clearly hyped. She's already acting like this place is hers, and Berje just lets it happen. She rambles excitedly about being bored and immediately reminds him of his promise. The fourth floor is hers to play with, and she's making sure he doesn't forget it. Berje agrees as long as she can find the spirit blossoms. But in his head, he's already realizing how insane it is that she's freely walking around a Demon King's tower and even redecorated the fourth floor to her own taste. He thinks the situation itself is ridiculous. A human girl casually moving inside a Demon King's tower, like it's her home, is not normal at all. Meanwhile, she quietly realizes she probably shouldn't have been able to leave the tower in the first place, and feels relieved that she came to check before something went wrong. She suddenly feels something off and freezes for a second, not sure what's happening. Berje grabs her and tells her to hold on tight, moving before she can even react. A massive burst of power erupts, and they shoot off in an instant, leaving everything behind in a flash. She slowly opens her eyes, still wrapped in warmth, and realizes this place feels completely different from the day she was kidnapped. Her eyes widen as it hits her. She never noticed before because it was dark back then, but now she can finally see everything clearly. She looks out at the endless landscape and silently realizes just how massive this world really is. Ernan reflects on her past, how every day used to blur together with non-stop magic training, studying, and repeating, to the point she thought she would just live and die like that. She looks at Berje and casually says that the only person who has ever flown over the Urgest Mountains is probably her now, brushing it off like it's no big deal. She grabs him without warning, tells him to call her Ernan, and says they're going to be seeing each other for a long time from now on, leaving him completely stunned. Berje lightly threatens Ernan, reminding her who's in charge, then calmly tells her to use her spirits and start searching for the spirit blossoms. She immediately apologizes and accepts. Ernan stays beside him, gathers her spirits, and prepares to move, clearly taking his orders seriously without talking back. Berje watches her get ready and thinks they probably won't find the blossoms quickly, but he's confident Ernan will still be faster than Gordon or anyone else. Berje senses it first, stops mid-air with Ernan still beside him, and realizes they've finally found a spirit blossom. The spirit blossom reveals itself, overflowing with dense, refined mana, clearly far purer than anything found near human territory. Before they can react, multiple monsters rush in at once, making it obvious they're not the first ones to reach this place. Berje spreads his wings and calmly orders the monsters to obey the Demon King, warning them not to touch the spirit blossom and to leave if they still value their lives. The monsters refuse outright, mocking him, calling him unworthy, and declaring they would rather die than follow a Demon King's orders. Berje laughs to himself, realizing Gordon was right all along. This was never going to end peacefully. Berje realizes he made a mistake expecting monsters to think. Purple demonic energy flares up as he admits this won't be a negotiation. He calmly declares that instead of arguing, he'll just burn everything here to ashes, his killing intent fully released. The beasts roar back in fury, gripping their weapons and charging as they shout to protect what's theirs and kill anyone who stands in their way. Berje gathers demonic power between his hands, realizing he doesn't need beasts to think. Raw force is enough, and he decides to erase them all at once. The demonic energy detonates upward, a massive purple blast swallowing the battlefield as the monsters are caught mid-charge. The beasts are torn apart in an instant, their bodies shredded and burned away, leaving nothing but echoes of their screams in the storm of demonic power. The monsters rush in together, shouting to take out the weakest first, and Ernarn freezes for a split second as the pressure closes in. Berje calmly forms a dense sphere of purple energy in his hand, his expression unchanged as demonic power condenses. He releases it in an instant, the explosion wiping through the charging monsters and leaving Ernarn standing silently at the center of the aftermath. Ernarn realizes the feral orcs are charging together, using numbers and coordination, but even then they still cannot get close to her or Berje. Berje calmly raises his hands, demonic energy crossing and compressing as he decides to stop holding back and show what a Demon King truly wields. The demonic power erupts across the battlefield, tearing through the orcs in an instant, and Ernarn understands for the first time the overwhelming gap that comes with the Demon King's power. The snowfall settles as Ernarn and the girl reach the spirit blossom. She kneels and immediately feels how pure and dense the mana is, realizing this is a high-grade water and ice attribute blossom. Ernarn watches closely and warns her not to cover or damage it. He stays calm and alert, making sure the blossom remains untouched while she observes it. She nods and agrees, carefully following his instructions, understanding that even a small mistake could ruin the spirit blossom's refined mana. Berje tells Ernarn that if she finds more spirit blossoms, she can take one, noting that humans can only cheer on when they see something this rare. As they move deeper into the mountains, Berje thinks that despite searching further, there has never been a confirmed second patch of spirit blossoms. Back at Berje's tower, Berje looks at the spirit blossom in his hand and thinks that Ernarn Hildurin, the crown princess of Hildurin, might not have been a mistake after all. He recalls how he first underestimated her, but now realizes she's far more useful than he initially thought. As Ernarn rests peacefully, surrounded by mana and spirits, Berje silently decides to make use of her talents going forward. Berje receives Granada's report and realizes the hero party, led by Hillen Cargill, has already left the capital of Hildurin. He understands they are not heading toward Urgist, but following the classic hero route, forming a party and growing stronger through quests. Berje concludes that by the time they finish their journey, the heroes will be far stronger than they are now, exactly as expected. Berje presents the prepared plans for the hero's journey, asking Gordon to review them carefully as the strategy unfolds. As Berje scans the plans, he calmly dismisses all of them without hesitation, catching Gordon off guard. Berje declares that this time there will be no monsters or interruptions sent after the hero, leaving Gordon stunned by the decision. Berje explains that half-baked interference only makes heroes stronger, so instead he orders Gordon to tell Granada to join the hero's journey with the mercenaries and slowly build their trust. Gordon hesitates, noting that Berje isn't following standard Demon King tactics and asking if the current tower alone can really stop the heroes. Berje smirks and reassures him, saying he'll reinforce the tower properly this time by adding a dwarf. Gordon freaks out, shouting that bringing a dwarf into the tower with humans and a high elf will turn them into a joke if anyone finds out. Berje gets irritated, demonic energy crackling around his hands as he shuts Gordon down. Berje explains calmly that he does not mean stopping the heroes with just a dwarf, but using dwarven magical tools, telling Gordon to think carefully about it. Berje thinks that as heroes grow used to the Demon King's standards, they will naturally open the tower floor by floor while fighting monsters, following the usual path. He then flips the idea, wondering what would happen if dozens of cannons welcomed them on the first floor instead, completely breaking their expectations. Gordon realizes the heroes would never be prepared for something like that, but also understands this goes far beyond normal demon standards. Gordon notices the Demon King's throne sitting empty. His mind goes blank for a second as a bad feeling creeps in. Before he can react, space twists. Gordon gets dragged away mid-panic, screaming that this is another abduction. The scene shifts to Walner, the dwarven underground city. Gordon arrives in shock, realizing he's been taken straight into dwarf territory. A dwarf hammers molten metal with explosive force. Sparks fly everywhere. This isn't an ordinary craftsman. The narration reveals him as Lozier Friedrich, the best dwarven blacksmith, a master whose skills can change the balance of power. Fate moves fast. Lozier Friedrich is now scheduled to be kidnapped by a rogue demon king. Berje approached the heavy stone door, while another stands silently off to the side. Buildings cling precariously to jagged cliffs, stacked high like a fortress carved from stone. Berje stands alone at the foot of the stairs, eyeing the towering crystal ahead. A wooden signboard swings gently, announcing the Midnight Inn above the entrance. Dealer places coins on the table while Berje asks, "Where's the most outstanding blacksmith in this city?" Berje smiles and gestures confidently while Lozier listens, trading sharp words about money and dwarves. Lozier points toward the massive hole tearing through the city, urging to head inside. Berje explains the lift's two-step security checks ID before granting access to floors. A small white object drops with a sharp tap near the black fence. Berje launches upward, sword ready to strike. Berje stands before a locked door, the corridor silent except for the urgent command. Head to the lowest floor and the deepest room. Berje stands tense behind the door, eyes sharp and ready. There, you'll find the city's best blacksmith, the message reads. Berje raises his fist charged with energy, confronting the dealer head-on. Lozier strikes the metal with his hammer, sparks and electricity flying from the impact. Berje glances to the side as the light from his work flickers like dancing mana. Berje reaches forward with a steady hand, eyes locked on Lozier's surprised face. A massive hammer slams into the ground, sending sparks flying from the impact. Berje raises his arm amid the chaos, turning back on the burning staircase as explosions rage around them. Berje spots a flicker of demonic energy nearby and looks sharply to the side. Lozier swings his hammer through the flames with surprising force. Dealer raises his sword with a confident smile as Berje blocks the strike amid the fiery clash. A man with brown hair holds a flaming sword, declaring, "Our Berje." Lozier shouts defiantly, declaring himself the Lozier blacksmith guarding the dwarves' land. Berje sneers, "For all that talk, you're pretty weak. Also, I'm not a demon." Lozier coughs and struggles to stand as the Demon King reveals himself behind. A massive hammer slams into the ground with earth-shaking force. Soldiers burst in, demanding answers as Lozier stands caught off guard. Two armored someone stand guard, watching the furnace as smoke billows out while Lozier looks on caught off guard. Guards shout warnings as they realize someone's been taken in order to block all exits. Berje holds an injured man while scanning the facility from above, urging a thorough search. Berje threatens silence with a sword while Lozier lies injured, shocked by the mention of a demon king and a someone. Berje demands a secret underground passage from the dwarven blacksmiths, pressing for a guide. Lozier lies still, eyes wide with shock, whispering, "This demon king." Lozier breaks down in tears, confessing his fear of fighting demon kings after living quietly all this time. Someone questions their fate, overwhelmed by their weakness. Berje threatens to kidnap the someone when his target refuses to talk. Lozier points accusingly at Princess Louise, shouting, "The selfish someone sold the princess to beg for his life." Lozier shouts in desperation, unable to accept the betrayal he's witnessing. A door slams shut as screams echo from inside, trapping desperate cries of fear and weakness. Berje pins the man to the ground, demanding, "Now, are you going to sell the someone out or come with me on your own feet?" Berje promises safety in exchange for help, swearing on the Demon King's standards as Lozier reacts with surprise. Lozier insists the Demon King's standards are sacred, swearing no vow made to them would ever be broken. Lozier sweats and focuses, muttering, "In that case," as he tightens his grip on the hammer. Lozier calls out with a sharp edge to his voice, challenging, "Let's head to the underground passage, Demon King. What's with that face?" Someone's workshop stands empty, its machines silent and the status flashing. Someone is absent. Princess Louise gasps, eyes wide as she shouts, "Someone!" Princess Louise stands firm, demanding, "Where did he go while making my weapon?" Someone Werft, the Dwarven Kingdom's royal, takes the stage. A guard informs Werft, "You see, Your Highness, we believe they've been kidnapped." Princess Louise shouts, "Shut your mouth. He's a Princess Louise, too." Guard admits he may be a Lozier, but he's also a blacksmith. That's why he's not so good at fighting. Princess Louise stands tied up as two armored someone order, "Shut it and go find that damn kidnapper. Bring him to me now." Princess Louise snarls a fierce threat. "If you don't find him, I'm going to pull all of your heads out." Lozier leads the way, lantern in hand, as Berje follows closely up the rocky slope through the secret passage. Lozier crouches cautiously, eyes fixed ahead as the other bows low beside him. Berje snaps at Lozier to move faster as they squeeze through the narrow passage. Berje stands watch on the ledge while Lozier catches his breath, crouched low near the bridge. Lozier crouches low, declaring, "This is where my role ends," and leaves the underground passage behind. Berje raises dark energy, while Lozier shouts in fear, accusing him of breaking a vow made on the Demon King's standards. Berje snarls with a smile, mocking the Demon King's standards with furious words. Lozier crouches on the ground, clutching his chest as a dark clawed hand looms over him. Lozier bows deeply, pleading his worth to Berje while the Demon King listens with a smile. Lozier shouts desperately, leaning forward to prove his loyalty and offer himself as a spy. Berje stands tall with a smile as the kneeling man swears allegiance, begging for mercy. Lozier shouts angrily, refusing to obey and threatening revenge the moment he escapes. Lozier shouts a fierce warning, vowing revenge and challenging the Demon King. Lozier freezes, eyes wide with sudden shock. Lozier is shocked looking at fourth floor of tower. Berje orders silence as Lozier holds his head, caught in the tense moment. Lozier confronts the man in red, who snaps, "Wait, you brought a dwarf in," before cutting him off. Princess Ernan taunts Lozier with a sharp question, while a third figure watches silently nearby. Lozier pleads for mercy while Berje coldly denies any promise. Lozier admits he knocked someone out and carried them here, claiming it was the safest choice since he didn't know what they might do. Lozier bursts into laughter, goggles pushed up as his worried expression breaks. Lozier's face freezes in shock, eyes wide as fear takes hold. Berje laughs loudly, his smile cutting through the quiet as butterflies flutter around. Berje smiles with an edge, taunting, "Are you that happy to be my subordinate?" Lozier laughs loudly, declaring, "Yes, of course. I'm." Berje orders Lozier with a smile, while Lozier kneels uncertainly, asking, "What is it?" Berje orders to install a large number of cannons on the first floor to destroy the heroes. The Ergist Someone's Journey Preparation Station stands ready, its windows lit against the night. Granada holds a holographic image and warns, The new Demon King can use black flames, so heroes are using fire-resistant gear. Granada holds a holographic image and says, there are rumors circling that the reason why the new Demon King isn't sending out demonic beasts is because he's scared. Berje explains that heroes will gain neither honor nor wealth from their journey, causing their interest and growth to fade. Granada holds the orb steady, focusing as he declares, it's a battle against time. Granada reveals the Demon King's strategy, weakening the heroes by withholding demonic monsters. Granada stands firm at the entrance, challenging the crowd with, has there ever been a Demon King like him? Someone admits, I'm glad they's not my enemy. Berje raises a finger and lays down the rule. No mana stones allowed, no matter how the first floor is remodeled. Lozier worries that a trap without a mana stone won't work on the heroes, but the other man insists it's Lozier's job to figure it out. Princess Louise shouts orders as silhouetted soldiers brace against the red sky, surrounded by broken machinery and looming threats. Berje channels purple energy, declaring he brought the best blacksmith and won't hesitate to bring another if needed. Lozier excitedly reveals he invented a magical tool that can hide mana traces, boasting it took 3 years to create. Berje mocks Lozier's excuse with a smirk, pressing him hard as Lozier stammers. And no, I'm being serious. Lozier sweats nervously, glancing sideways as he asks, what did you put around my neck? Berje raises a finger, explaining the magical tool that can separate Lozier's head from his body with one hand. Berje holds up a magical mask and warns, if you take it off, I'll consider that as you escaping, while Lozier nervously insists, I'll never take it off. Someone travels between kingdoms, gathering supplies and mana materials along the marked routes. Berje opens a red portal and stores the gathered materials inside his subspace pocket. Lozier bows deeply while Berje watches silently by the rocky ledge inside the cave. The soldier dodges as the wooden door splinters and breaks apart. Princess Louise shouts angrily, clenching her fists as she demands answers. The soldier and others gather around the map, planning their search through the tunnels while acknowledging the enemy's likely escape. Princess Louise shouts angrily, demanding the truth about the kidnapping. Princess Louise grabs the older man's shoulder and threatens, I'll give you exactly 2 more weeks. If you don't find a kidnapper by then, you're gonna die. Okay. Princess Louise orders, now go. Fill all the tunnels the blacksmiths created, as the soldier points decisively at the floor map. Princess Louise stands firm on the platform, catching her breath amid scattered rocks. Princess Louise glares down at the sword on the ground, bitterly muttering, this should have been my weapon. Princess Louise grips the gauntlet tightly. Someone, please be alive. You can't die until you've completed my weapon. Lozier raises his hand behind the bars, while the girl with the crown turns her head sharply. Princess Louise shouts fiercely, her flaming fist clenched as she faces the armored soldiers. Lozier holds his weapon cautiously as the face recognition interfering mask activates. Princess Louise shouts, that's one of his secret tunnels, as she points urgently. The soldier stands tense beside the trapped man, who peers out from the broken box. Lozier raises a nervous fist, sweat dripping as he stammers. Princess, you. Armored hands clasp tightly as a mocking laugh cuts through the tension. Ha, what? A furious voice spits out, you bastard. You came back, all right. Princess Louise clenches her golden gauntlet and mocks. So you went into hiding because you didn't want to make my weapon? Is that it, someone? Berje kneels in pain as the figure in the red cloak holds a weapon, declaring, from now on, you're my slave. Princess Louise raises her flaming fist, but before that, I'm going to punish you for running away. Lozier pleads desperately, raising his hand to beg. Spare me. Princess Louise crashes hard against the wall, sending debris flying everywhere. Princess Louise lunges forward. Who are you? With her flaming fist raised. A heavy boot steps firmly onto the tiled floor. Berje orders someone to grab the equipment, sending him sprinting through the workshop. Princess Louise shouts, demanding to know why someone is helping that despicable dwarf. Berje calmly declares, I'm the master of the pitiful blacksmith you were extorting. Princess Louise flies upward. Someone? Nonsense. He's my slave. Princess Louise swings her polearm fiercely while someone, Who are you, T.O.? Take him from me, as Berje calmly blocks the attack. Berje glares with calm intensity, unshaken and focused. Berje unleashes a surge of purple energy, striking with precise force. Princess Louise clenches her flaming fist and grabs the arm of the person in the black sleeve. Berje glances sideways, calm and unshaken. Princess Louise strikes with her fist, sending Berje crashing backward. Berje reaches out desperately as Princess Louise locks eyes with him, determination burning bright. Berje throws a fierce punch as Princess Louise blocks it with her fist. Princess Louise grits her teeth, determination burning in her eyes beneath the crown. Princess Louise stands victorious atop a pile of defeated creatures, gripping her large axe with unwavering resolve. Berje clutches his arm, weighing the cost of using all his strength and demonic energy against Princess Louise. Berje admits, I might get captured by her soldiers, knowing his power has exposed him as the Demon King. Lozier grits his teeth and raises an arm to block the flying debris. Berje crouches, panting hard, while Lozier stares in shock, caught off guard. Berje kneels by the massive machine, while Lozier stands tense, eyes locked on the panels. Berje raises his arm, threatening with dark energy as he demands, Do you want to die? Finish it within a minute. Berje shouts, Who said you can do that? As he charges forward, warning, If push comes to shove, I'm going to leave you behind. Lozier snaps under pressure, promising, Oh, okay. I'll wrap this up quickly. Berje raises his hands, channeling red energy as he struggles without his full strength or demonic power. Princess Louise descends with a fist, launching a fierce upward strike against Berje's red energy. Princess Louise throws a fierce punch, warning someone he won't leave alive. Berje shouts a fierce warning, claiming the blacksmith and equipment as his own. Gears spin and pipes hum, signaling the machine's power awakening. Dismantles the mechanical figure with surging energy and shouts, I've dismantled it. Princess Louise swings her axe fiercely, shouting, Someone, you motherfucker! You came back to take that. Berje narrows his eye with fierce focus, shouting, An opening. Berje strikes with a powerful kick, aiming straight at Princess Louise. A massive mechanical object crashes into the ground, sending debris flying in all directions. Berje shouts a warning as he unleashes a surge of red energy from his outstretched hand. Princess Louise shouts defiance. That attack is useless against me. As the strike lands, Princess Louise raises her arm, eyes wide, as massive mechanical arms loom overhead. Princess Louise runs forward, shouting angrily, Princess, what's going on? Princess Louise charges forward, launching a fiery explosion at the tunnel floor. Princess Louise questions in disbelief, did he block the tunnel, as she processes the unexpected move. Princess Louise smiles slyly, taunting, how interesting, how very interesting, someone. Princess Louise laughs fiercely, vowing to scour the entire continent and make them regret today. Princess Louise's eye narrows in fierce determination as she shouts, LOGR. A massive wooden object lies chained on the ground, blocking the path. Princess Ernan and the others stand tense before the massive mechanical sphere, its chains and gears locked tight. Berje explains the giant magical tool's purpose, while Princess Ernan reacts with surprise. Berje orders activation as Lozier finishes installing the Mana's Phantom on the machine. Berje orders activation with a serious warning, while Lozier nervously confirms and triggers the device. A swirling vortex spins wildly, gears locking into place around its core. A blinding energy sphere erupts between them, forcing Princess Ernan to shield her eyes with a pained, UGH. It's so bright. Berje raises his hand, studying the holographic screens as he realizes, synchronized with the tower. The tower had a function like that. Berje clenches his fist, ready to confirm the truth himself. Manhwa's phantom fully converts its power source from mana to demonic energy, recognizing Demon King, someone Diaz, as its master. Berje holds his weapon steady as Lozier denies any involvement, shocked by the tower's impossible power shift from mana to demonic energy. Berje urges Princess Ernan to try any spell, pushing her toward the locked door. Princess Ernan raises her hands as a swirling vortex forms above her, declaring, "Okay, whatever I want is." Berje holds his sword ready as Princess Ernan rushes toward the dangerous vortex, shouting, "Stop feet!" Berje steps firmly onto the snow, his resolve unshaken beneath the cold night sky. Berje stands firm, his gaze sharp as he utters, "And yet." Berge's eyes widen as he realizes he can't see or sense any presence inside. Berje reaches down, manipulating the energy flowing between the two towers. Berje raises his hand, channeling purple energy as he declares the tower. Purple energy pulses as the figure stands firm in the snow, shouting, "Vanished!" Berje channels raw purple energy through his gloved hand, readying for the next move. Berje stands firm before the fortress, energy pulsating as the mountain wind bites. Berje raises his hand, channeling demonic energy as he contemplates hiding the tower, despite the cost. Berje smiles as he admits, using it right now is difficult, but it'll be useful going forward. Berje shouts angrily, demanding to examine both the device and the tower. Lozier gestures excitedly at the mechanical parts while Berje watches intently, captivated by the historic discovery. Berje raises his weapon, challenging Lozier with a cold promise. "If your trap wipes out the heroes, you can do whatever you want." Berje shouts a challenge and makes a bold proposal to Princess Ernan, catching her completely off guard. Berje points to himself, demanding, "You want me to fight the heroes?" While Princess Ernan protests, "But I'm a princess." Berje doubts, forcing the innocent princess into a harsh role, questioning if betraying her own kind is fair. Berje hesitates, weighing fire, water, and wind elements before dismissing them all. Berje lays out the plan. "Just reveal to them that you're an enemy and fluster the heroes." Princess Ernan agrees to the plan, but demands to be introduced as the Demon King's subordinate, not as a princess. Berje agrees with a firm, "Fine, I agree," sealing the deal with no hesitation. Princess Ernan confidently challenges Berje, joking about using her looks to fight, while he stays calm and focused. Berje sits firmly on the throne, gripping his weapon as the figure stands silently before him. Berje holds a holographic display, outlining a ruthless plan to cut down the heroes with mass mana cannons and bait the princess on the upper floor. The knight rides forward, flanked by armored figures, acknowledging the plan won't even cut down half the heroes. Berje holds the crystal, questioning if he must just become stronger himself. They leave the tower behind, heading out into the snowy mountains. Berje scans the snowy ground while Princess Ernan admits, "There's none here either." Berje and Princess Ernan watch as useless spirits float around, their third attempt yielding nothing but silence. Berje stands firm as a massive hand lowers between him and the girl with white hair. Pearl Orcs kneels quietly, eyes steady beneath the fur cloak. Berje extends his hand, unleashing dark energy while Princess Ernan watches, startled. Two figures stand toe-to-toe on the snowy ground, tension crackling between their steps. Pearl Orcs kneel and offer their tribe's loyalty to Berje, greeting him as the Demon King. Pearl Orcs step forward, pleading, "Please accept us as your kin," as Berje stands firm, radiating red energy. Berje questions the plea with a sharp, "You want me to take you in as my kin?" Pearl Orcs kneel in the snow, begging, "Please grant us the honor of serving you, Demon King." Berje grips the chest, cutting through the lies with sharp words. "Enough. Save the sweet talk." Pearl Orcs holds the box firmly, daring with a sharp, "Bring it." The chest opens to reveal 3 flowers inside. Berje and Princess Ernan stare at the open chest, piecing together the mystery behind the missing flowers. Monsters approach the 2 figures as a tense conversation about strength and survival unfolds. Pearl orcs kneel calmly, their expression unreadable as tension thickens. Smirks tighten lips, mocking with a sharp, "Wisdom over strength, HUH." Berje raises a magical circle with a confident smile, declaring, "I like you." "Very well." Pearl orcs shouts fiercely, flames rising as he declares, "But I'll only take you in crew 2. A dragon tattoo burns bright as Pearl orders, "Roam the snowfields and grow your tribe for my sake." A horned creature commands, "Wait for my orders. I will reward you with something greater than strength." Pearl orcs stand firm, their bodies marked by red symbols as they declare, "Your tribe shall be eternal." A pearl orc kneels, pledging loyalty to Berje with a firm, "Thank you," while Princess Ernan watches in surprise. Monsters shout, "We will devote our loyalty," as Princess Ernan watches, stunned. Someone's tower stands fortified in the Urgist Mountains, ready to unleash full force. Pearl orcs stand ready outside the tower, swords drawn and cloaked against the cold. Lozier stands tense between 60 mana cannons, ready for whatever comes to the tower's first floor. Princess Ernan stands firm on the tower's 4th floor, arms crossed as elemental spirits hover silently around her. Berje sits firmly, eyes locked on the floating holograms as he declares, "Now, all the pieces are in place." Berje challenges his opponents with a fierce vow, "Come, heroes, I'll repay you for the humiliation of my previous life." Snow falls silently as pine branches bend under its weight in the quiet forest. Hero and the elf announce their arrival, breaking the silence of the snowy forest. A group of travelers spot the Urgist Mountains rising beyond the snowy trees. The Holton Walk Someone's Journey Preparation Station stands ready, its towers and walls guarding the night. Heroes sit at a raised table while guests fill the long banquet tables below, one voice cutting through with, The older man and Hillen exchange smiles, sharing gratitude over the banquet and their place in history. The older man urges Hillen to give a speech, pushing him out of his hesitation. The older man raises his hand and commands, "Everyone, someone would like a few words." Hillen stands ready with his sword as the man with crown-like headpiece watches silently. The man in white and Hillen clears his throat, demanding attention with a sharp ahem. Hillen commands the room, declaring that someone's journey has reached its final stretch. The man with black hair laughing leans back, chuckling as he discusses the Demon King's silence and their final preparations. Raises a wine glass, declaring, "Tomorrow is the day. We will make the foolish Demon King pay for daring to kidnap the kingdom of Hildurin's Princess Ernan." Hillen shouts defiantly, demanding, "Who are we? Who is the master of this world?" Crowd member raising fist leads a loud chant, demanding for justice toward the armored figures on the platform. Granada raises his glass as the crowd cheers, celebrating the uneasy balance of someone. Hillen smiles confidently beside Granada as he recounts someone's rise and the alliances that carried him forward. Granada questions the tower's emptiness and wonders if the someone need a wake-up call. Granada shouts in distress, wrestling with the shock that subjugation might actually free him. Hillen urges Granada to get a grip while holding a wine glass. Granada reads the final message and acknowledges the cutoff. "Once you leave Holton, don't contact me anymore." Berje laughing warns, "Watch the snow when you climb the mountains. Don't let your guard down at night." And lastly, Granada holds a light and warns, "When they open the tower, stand far from it." Hillen holds a wine glass, startled by Granada's sudden question. Hillen offers fruit wine to Granada, who accepts it quietly. Hillen raises a glass, teasing Granada about his nerves as they talk strategy. Hillen holds the orb, shocked as he admits, "To be honest, I don't really know either." Hillen admits, "Even though people trust me and follow me, subjugating a Demon King's tower is always hellish. Granada holds a glass and challenges, "But didn't you kill the demon king of lust and absorb his power?" Hillen asks Granada to finally share the story of how he killed the demon king of lust. The figure's lips press shut, silence thick with unspoken weight. Hillen smiles, praising his comrades for holding the front lines against the monsters. Hillen orders Granada to protect his flank and promises victory if they combine their strength. Granada nods firmly and declares, "Then I'll do just that." Hillen leads the way back inside, telling Granada, "The fortress master wants to hear your adventure stories." Granada stands silently while Hillen leads the way forward. Hillen calls out, asking someone to watch his back as he joins forces with brave comrades. Morning breaks over the fortified city, its gates and walls standing firm as the day begins. Hillen leads the march forward, rallying the crowd with cries of "Long live Granada! Long live Wharton!" The group presses forward through the narrow, snowy gorge, their march echoing against the mountain walls. Hillen remarks on the clear weather and smooth progress through the Arrowist Mountains, confident they'll reach the tower without trouble. Hillen laughs, holding his spear as he mocks the rumors about disaster-class monsters. Hero smirks, gripping his spear while the armored man casually rests a spiked mace over his shoulder. Someone wipes purple liquid from his forehead, confused and asking, "Huh? What is this?" Hero shouts a warning as massive ghouls cling to the cliffs above. Heroes advance in formation, raising swords, axes, and staffs as they prepare for battle. Skeletal monsters surge forward through the gorge as the monster commands knights to cover the mages and pull back. The man with black hair laughing shouts a warning as the man in white and gold armor commands everyone to fall back from the approaching frost giant. The skeletal someone looms overhead as Hillen and the man with black hair laughing brace themselves, eyes locked on the towering threat. Hillen orders Wharton to lead everyone out while he faces the frost giant alone. Blue energy slams into the ground, cracking the earth beneath the frost giant. The skeletal someone raises its arm to strike, while the man in white and gold armor braces for the blow. The skeletal monster glares with burning red eyes, sizing up its next move. Hillen declares, "A frost giant can't possibly be stronger than the demon king of lust." The skeletal someone raises its massive arm, while the man in white and gold armor leaps backward to evade the strike. Hillen lands on the skeletal someone, ready to strike from above. The skeletal monster slams its fist into the stone wall with brutal force. Hillen raises his sword, crackling blue lightning as he charges the skeletal someone. Hillen charges forward, sword raised for a decisive strike. Hillen locks his gaze with fierce focus, ready to strike at the command, "Now." The cloaked figure slashes with a sword, cutting into the skeletal monster's ribcage. Hillen shouts, "Now, everybody run!" Heroes sprint forward as an explosion erupts behind, while an armored man shouts urgent orders to keep moving. A massive someone glares with burning eyes, smoke pouring from its jaws. The skeletal monster reels from the explosion, rocks scattering as it struggles to maintain its footing. The man with black hair laughing kneels, gripping his sword as he catches his breath in the snow. The man in white and gold armor catches his breath, admitting the place is insane, but their casualties remain low. Granada sweats, eyes fixed ahead, muttering, "Seriously? If it's someone." The man in white and gold armor smiles confidently, certain he might actually defeat that demon king. Monster and the armored figure grip their weapons, eyes locked on the distant figures moving through the snow. The man in white and gold armor warns, "There's no time to rest," as he senses demonic energy from the pearl orcs nearby. The monster taunts the intruders, declaring, "Welcome to Urgist, foolish someone." Hillen boasts, "They're easy opponents, I'll take care of them in no time." But Granada warns, "Wait, Hillen, this sound." Man with black hair laughing warns sharply, "Watch the snow." Granada sweats nervously, realizing the warning might already be too late. Monster sneers, taunting with the words, "Not a single one of you." Berje's intense gaze sharpens as he declares, "We'll reach the tower." Granada and the man with black hair laughing stare up at the distant mountain, the mist swirling around its peak. A shocked man struggles to process the sudden threat, yelling, "How the hell am I supposed to watch out for this?" The shocked man screams, "The Demon King, you crazy bastard!" An avalanche crashes down the slope as people scramble to escape. Granada shouts a desperate warning, "Run, all of you." The man with black hair, laughing, sits confidently on the throne, surrounded by floating blue screens. Berje smiles and declares, "Once again, welcome, someone." Berje, laughing, snarls, "This time, I will hunt you all down." Berje sits confidently on the ornate chair, eyes fixed on the floating holographic screens as he declares, "I warned someone of 3 things." Berje's sharp eye narrows as he states, "First, the snow. An avalanche buries the slope, scattering fighters and leaving many unaccounted for. A soldier shouts orders to camp and search for the someone swept away while Granada watches on, someone. The monster advances with others behind, his warning echoing, "I told him never to let his guard down at night." The monster leads the charge as Pearl orcs drive the horde forward, forcing the someone to brace for battle. Granada clenches her fist, fury burning as she snarls, "That damned Demon King. Damn it." Berje smiles sharply as he warns, "An avalanche by day, a herd of monsters by night." This pattern repeats endlessly. A sharp voice cuts through the tension with a warning. Hillen stands at the mountain summit, shocked and struggling to find words. Why? The group climbs through the thick snow, searching for the Demon King's tower, but finding nothing. Hillen shouts in frustration, demanding why the tower isn't in a place someone can easily find. A soldier warns Hillen they're splitting up and ready to give up, shaking his resolve. Hillen's voice cracks as he calls out, "Sir Wharton, what are you?" The armored man steps forward, declaring, "This monster's journey is a failure. I'm sorry, but our lives matter more." Hillen grimaces, teeth clenched tight against the pain. 3 figures spot the Demon King's tower looming over the snowy ridge, counting fallen allies down to 52. Hillen shouts orders and tightens his grip on his sword, ready to charge the weaklings on the first floor. Berje smiles coldly and warns, "Third, when they open the tower, stand far from it." 5 cloaked figures stand firm as multiple orbs pulse with bright light above them. Hillen's shock hits hard as he gasps, "What the—" A silhouetted figure unleashes a powerful energy blast, declaring, "Because we'll deal with them in one." The head count drops sharply from 52 to just 1. Berje smirks while scanning the screen, noting, "OH, so even that isn't enough." Hillen kneels among fallen foes, shocked and struggling to comprehend the chaos around him. Hillen yells in disbelief, struggling to grasp the chaos unleashed by the Demon King. Granada turns sharply to check on Hillen, who barely dodges the attack and calls out in alarm. Granada insists on moving up despite Hillen's shock and doubt. Hillen holds his sword steady, declaring, "I'm the Hillen who killed the Demon King of Lust and absorbed his power." Granada declares, "And you're more than enough," as Hillen grips his sword, ready to move forward together. Hillen and Granada stand firm on the empty tower floor, catching their breath after the fierce exchange. Hillen and Granada stand tense on the empty 3rd floor, smoke swirling as they catch their breath. Granada points out the absence of monsters, insisting something's off with the tower's empty floors. The 4th floor of someone's tower opens to a quiet outdoor space, strangely empty and still. Hillen freezes, shocked by the sudden swarm of butterflies, and shouts, "What the hell is this?" Hillen and Granada debate the strange emptiness of the lower floors and the sudden appearance of a forest on the 4th. Hillen grimaces in shock as the cloaked figure approaches, taunting, "I see you somehow managed to make it up here." Princess Ernan stands firm on the rock, raising her hand as she declares, "I'm one of the 4 heavenly kings who protects the Demon King." The dark spiritist declares herself the opponent, challenging Princess Ernan with sharp confidence. Princess Ernan levitates above the platform, surrounded by swirling magical flames, as Hillen and the armored man stare up in disbelief. Hillen shouts in shock, demanding someone, "Why you look like that, Princess?" As the other figure warns, "I'll retreat quietly for now." Princess Ernan shouts, "I am not a princess. I'm the dark spiritist." Princess Ernan raises her arms and unleashes a swirling storm of elemental energy, sending rocks flying as she declares, "Witness the power of darkness." Hillen realizes the spirit magic in use is the highest rank, only accessible to someone and impossible if she's controlled. Monster marches through the snow, warning of pearl orcs, avalanches, and ambushes near the hidden tower. 3 cloaked heroes stand on the stairs, facing the mana cannons as one gestures forward. A smirk spreads as Hillen mocks, "Ha, I don't get it." An angry man shouts with clenched fists, vowing to destroy everything amid the chaos. Berje raises his hand, unleashing purple energy as he taunts, "You think you can do it?" An explosion erupts, sending a shockwave and debris flying across the grassy field. Berje stands firm, holding a purple flame as he finally confronts someone Cargill. Hillen kneels, gripping his sword tight as he calls out the Demon King, demanding more strength to face the threat. Granada shouts, "Over there!" to redirect attention in the tense forest standoff. Berje turns away with a sly smile, while Granada glares, her hand crackling with energy. Hillen grabs Granada's shoulder, shouting, "Granada, let's combine our strength," as she reels in surprise. Granada's energy drains rapidly, her shocked expression matching the sudden weakness overtaking her. Hillen stands over the fallen orc, raising his hand with fingers and declaring, "Didn't I tell you, someone? As long as you're by my side, there's no problem." Berje leans forward, declaring, "That artifact is—" as his smile widens. Hillen reveals the artifact's deadly power. It converts an elf's infinite vitality into mana. Hillen stands over the fallen, sword in hand, declaring the elf's death a necessary sacrifice for the greater good. Granada glares fiercely, accusing, "Swindler." Berje smirks, taunting with a sharp, "I like how vile and lowly you are." Berje questions the power of the ring, testing if removing it will weaken his opponent. The man with the mechanical hand taunts, daring Hillen with a cocky grin, "Try that if you can, you idiot." Hillen shouts, "Gordon," with fierce urgency, his face twisted in shock. Hillen freezes mid-shout, eyes wide with sudden shock. Hillen clutches his injured hand, shocked that he didn't sense any presence before the strike. Hillen's sword presses against Gordon's neck, blood dripping as Gordon mocks, "You're both rude and noisy for a human." A figure in a dark cape launches a projectile across the open field. Hillen swings his sword downward with a fierce strike. Hillen grimaces in shock, struggling to believe he was taken down by a high-ranking demon despite using an artifact. A black-gloved hand tightens its grip on the white surface, holding firm. The monster looms behind Hillen, snarling, "You're not going anywhere." The man with glasses looks sideways, thinking, "I have to dodge." A massive dragon face looms over Hillen as he stands frozen, shouting, "It's caught off guard." Berje smiles menacingly, raising his hand as dark energy swirls around him while Granada trembles in fear. Berje taunts, declaring, "It's time to take a beating." Someone Cargill. Striking down with brutal force, the sword slashes through the air. Berje stands over Hillen, who lies injured and gasping on the ground amid the dust. Breathing heavily, the young man struggles to steady himself after the clash. Berje stands firm with energy crackling around his hands as the man groans in pain on the ground, whispering, "Impressive." Berje tells Gordon to bind Hillen and throw him in prison. Granada lies still, whispering, "I can see the afterlife." Berje casts magic on the older man with gray hair and who groans in response. Granada blinks, caught off guard by the sudden change. Granada sits cross-legged, hands radiating power as they declare, "I've fully recovered." Granada watches as a spirit blossom is quietly handed over between two figures, tension hanging in the air. Berje grants Lozier permission to dismantle the tower, prompting the dwarf hologram to cheer in excitement. Berje raises his hand and orders, "That's all. Everybody, restore and maintain the floor you've been assigned to." Berje walks away calmly, while Granada and Ernan watch, stunned by his unshaken presence. Granada asks, "What's wrong, princess?" while someone hesitates, lost in thought. Berje kneels down, admitting, "I think the demon someone is someone." Berje lies on the ground, breathing heavily and muttering, "That was so close." Berje pants heavily, sweat dripping as he admits, "Still, damn that human, someone Cargill." 10 figures stand revealed, each marked by a shining star. The 10 stars, the continent's strongest heroes. The man in armor with forehead channels energy from his forehead. Man in armor with glowing forehead and focused calm. Berje leans against the wall, reflecting on how little demonic energy he's used and how his victory hinged on someone Cargill's weakened state. The man in armor with forehead stands firm, declaring, "My plan exhausted him," with 2 guards silently flanking him. Hillen shouts fiercely, sweat dripping as he declares, "Triggered him," with raw intensity. The man in armor with forehead stares ahead, eyes wide as chaos erupts around him. His vision narrows from the chaos, and he unwittingly exposes a critical opening. Berje smiles as he raises his arm, claiming, "As a result, my all-out strike hit him." Berje claims a perfect victory without relying on the demon someone standards, something he's never achieved before. Berje kneels, clutching his leg, and declares, "I was able to successfully alter fate." Berje locks eyes with determination, declaring, "I can do it. I can change the future." Berje smiles menacingly, surrounded by figures with eyes, declaring, "I can get revenge." Berje snarls, unleashing his fury with a sharp, venomous curse. "On those damn heroes!" The tower looms tall, tangled in vines, as the shout cuts through. What kind of bullshit is that? 3 people aim their devices and shout, demanding answers and accountability. Announcer shouts urgently into the device, insisting, "We haven't failed yet. There's still hope." Birds soar over the city as news about the new demon someone spreads across the continent. King and princess both shouting BCS, the new demon king, is making them angry. The man with gray hair and red holds a paper, sharing the distorted story of Sir Someone Cargill's fate as a crowd listens. Someone's demonic energy points surge rapidly, hitting 290,000 on the digital display. The announcer confronts Announcer Wharton, demanding, "Is there not even a hair's breadth of falsehood in what you said?" The announcer swears on his name, insisting, "I spoke only the truth." The council debates the unknown demon someone's identity, urging caution as the silhouettes flicker on the screens. A silhouetted figure with eyes reveals Berje Cargill as one of the 10 stars, declaring he can't be brought down easily. They set a 10-day deadline before unleashing all 4,728 heroes on the continent. The new heroes gather to eliminate the Demon King. A man grips the prison bars tightly, whispering in the silent corridor. The man restrained on bars raises his arms, locked behind cold prison bars as a guard questions his recovery speed. The man with disheveled brown hair demands the demon someone get to the point, refusing to waste time. Berje smiles and offers, "Become my vassal." The man with disheveled brown hair freezes, eyes wide, caught off guard by the unexpected offer. Berje lays out the harsh truth. Heroes funded by merchants and nobles either rise by defeating the demon someone or drown in debt if they fail. Berje states, this time, all investments were focused on just one person. Hillen sweats and stares in shock, caught off guard by the sudden realization. The man groaning on ground admits his fate as a failed man groaning on ground, trapped by debt and exile. Granada points firmly and declares, "I told him." Hillen shouts through the prison bars, accusing Granada of betrayal, while Granada remains calm, eyes half closed. Berje stands behind the man restrained on bars, raising his chained arm as he delivers a defiant declaration. A man holds an orb, questioning if the humans can really succeed while the bruised man groans nearby. Purple tendrils latch onto the brain, turning it into a deadly surveillance tool. Berje is talking with Hillen that if the orb fails to adopt his body, he will consider as Hillen rejected him. The man with disheveled brown hair shouts in panic, insisting his strength makes him immune to mind control magic. Princess Someone smiles confidently, wielding purple energy as the man shouts in distress, claiming a Princess Someone can dispel mental defense by will. The man with disheveled brown hair shouts, refusing to submit and condemning the waste of a magical tool. Berje shouts, "Shut up and swallow," as he swings his arm down, unleashing a blast of purple energy at the man groaning on the ground. Hillen strains through the pain, barely managing to mutter, "UGH." Berje taunts the man groaning on ground, testing his limits while standing firm. Hillen kneels with arms raised, someone about greed and betrayal among comrades. The man with messy light brown hair grimaces in pain, sweat dripping down his face as he mutters, "Damn it." Light filters through tall windows, casting sharp shadows across the empty room. Berje sits firmly on the throne, delivering a cold decree about someone Cargill's heavy debt and strict restrictions. 2 bags of gold coins lie open, revealing nearly 2,000 gold, enough to rival a small nation's annual budget. Gordon smiles as a message finally arrives. It's about time I get a message. Hero stands firm by the round table, recalling how he once shunned the annual gathering of Demon Kings. Berje smiles, noting how the other Demon Kings have likely amassed plenty of gold and treasure during their long survival in Arian. Berje shouts, accusing someone of trying to trade demonic energy points for money again. Gordon looks surprised as he activates a holographic interface, admitting, "Yes, what I would have said in the past, but after dealing with the heroes directly, I understand." Princess Someone admits, "If we had followed the Demon Someone standards, we wouldn't have been able to stop the heroes." Berje smiles quietly, hiding his true intentions behind a calm facade. Berje smiles confidently and declares, "Let's go. We're going to swindle my senior Demon Kings." A tall tower rises sharply from the lake, connected by a narrow bridge that cuts through the still water. Berje smirks and declares, "Even though I'm not late, you're all already here." Berje smirks and challenges, "Do you have a lot of things to discuss without me?" Draxon growls fiercely, baring his teeth as he snarls, "Someone dis." Reyna stands calm and composed, her someone steady as she watches the chaos unfold. Demon smirks and taunts. Here comes the stuck-up who insulted the standards. Someone of Lies welcomes someone Diaz with a confident smile and open hands. Berje smirks and mocks the alliance, calling it a shame for someone while admitting it's the right choice for Arian. Demon shouts a fierce challenge from the stairs, calling out the newcomer with deadly intent. Berje smirks and taunts, daring his opponent with a deadly challenge, "Try me." The demon leans in close with a mocking smirk as Berje meets his gaze, tension crackling between them. The Someone of Lies clasps his hands and cuts straight to the point. "Yugger, Someone, this occasion is to talk about cooperation. Please don't waste our precious time." Berje smirks as the killing intent of 2 Someone vanishes without a trace. Berje stands by the chair, smirking as he delivers a cryptic message about the tower's power. The Someone of Lies breaks the silence, inviting thoughts as Berje listens intently across the table. Draxon tells them if nobody has anything to say, then let me start. Draxon growls with eyes, demanding, "Where is Hillen Cargill?" Berje dis. Berje smirks, eyes sharp beneath his horned headpiece, unbothered by the challenge. Berje delivers a sharp declaration. "Hillen Cargill is..." Draxon demands answers, asking, "What happened to Hillen Cargill? Is he dead?" Gordon raises his hands nervously, insisting, I am not sure. He didn't even enter our tower. The Demon King stands firm as the aides debate the impossible reach of his power. Gordon thinks it's what the Demon King said. Berje orders absolute secrecy about Hill and Cargill, insisting he's a spy no one must know about. Gordon shouts as he processes the shocking truth about the someone he serves. Gordon shouts in frustration, clawing the air as he vents about the reckless someone. The demon smirks, admitting, I don't understand why I feel so satisfied saying this. Others tells Gordon they get what he's trying to express. Gordon's eyes widen as he processes a sudden realization, stammering, I see. A message pops up, bluntly stating, needed emotional support. The Demon King tells Berje he expects him to believe that. Gordon shouts in disbelief, accusing the other of not placing their tower at the peak and mocking their freedom to build anywhere. The Demon King of Lies smirks and clasps his hands, taunting, so heroes are still aiming for your tower, and yet you left it undefended and came here. The Someone of Lies smirks and taunts, surely you've learned at the academy that someone who has lost their tower meets a dreadful end. Berje smirks and declares, don't concern yourself with my tower. I'm protecting it in my own way. The Someone of Lies laughs and concedes, very well, I won't pry any further. Draxon shouts in anger while Berje dismisses his concerns with a smirk. A voice admits, even if I lie, they have no way of verifying it, weighing suspicion against exposure. Berje stands firm, locking eyes with the group as he declares, I won't forget the reason I came here. My goal is to earn 100,000 gold. The Someone of Lies sits calmly while the demon gestures, their tense conversation unfolding without rush. Berje smirks as Draxon stammers, their tense exchange mirrored in the silent room. Reyna's someone glints as she utters, and Berje's confident smirk falters as surprise flashes across his face. A lone figure stands on the 13th floor balcony of the Tower of Lies, overlooking distant mountains. Berje smirks as Reyna asks, what is it? And he admits, it's nothing to be hidden. Reyna nods calmly and admits, I agree with some of your points. Berje smirks and mutters, seriously? Berje challenges Reyna with a sharp declaration, catching her off guard. Berje pushes for a private talk, calling out the others as idiots while Reyna listens quietly on the balcony. Berje smirks and taunts Reyna, who stays cool, replying, you're not bad. Someone passes a personal transmitter, offering a line of trust and a rare connection. The woman challenges with a sharp question, what about the someone? Berje smirks, sizing up the white-haired elf while admitting, I can't read him at all. Berje stands firm across the room, eyes locked on the figure in the blue robe beyond the arched doorway. Berje holds the orb, weighing his doubts about someone's Soldian as he admits, I can't fully trust her yet. She's an unexpected gain. Someone's tower stands tall against the snowy mountains, a silent fortress in the cold. Princess Hernan offers a tray of cookies to Lozier, surprising him with her unexpected treat inside the tower. Princess Hernan smiles proudly, holding a tray of cookies baked with the help of a small fire elemental. Princess Hernan offers cookies with a smile, while the dark-haired man eagerly takes one, laughing as he thanks her. Lozier bites into the food, forcing a smile as he says, no matter how bad it tastes, let's say it tastes great. Gordon shouts in shock, unable to hide his disbelief. The demon revels in the taste, feeling his mana surge like never before. Mana explodes outward, engulfing everything as the someone cries, this must be what heaven is like. Princess Hernan offers a tray of cookies with a smile, while Lozier reacts in disbelief, asking, what in the world have you created? Princess Hernan tells Lozier that she put blossoms in the dish so it tastes better. Berje smiles as the blonde woman offers a gift, promising they'll stay close for a long time. Princess Hernan offers a tray of cookies while Berje smirks, teasing if Granada will enjoy them more. Princess Hernan smiles and asks, what about the someone? Do you think he'd enjoy these too? Berje strides forward, smirking as he asks, Has everybody left already? The demon king of lies sits calmly, dismissing the conversation with a smirk. Yes, we finished talking. Berje leans forward over the table, casually offering tea while the someone of lies responds with a simple yes. The demon king of lies smiles and clasps his hands, declaring, I know you're in need of the human's money. Gordon's eye snaps wide open, revealing a sudden shock beneath his furious shout. Berje shouts in disbelief, demanding, What do you mean by that? The question cuts sharp. Where did the information leak?